Welcome to How Preschool Teachers Do It.
I'm Cynthia.
I'm Allison.
And we have a combined 55 years of experience working with children, families, and experts in early education.
We are not random influencers.
No, we are not. Whether you are new or have been our podcast peeps since 2018, we are thrilled you found us. Hi, preschool peeps.
Hi, peeps.
I just kicked something. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
I
I'm
heard it.
sorry, everybody, if you heard that.
That's
I kicked
right.
something under the desk here.
Human beings.
Well, yeah. Welcome back, preschool peeps.
Yes,
We
happy
are
Monday.
happy to have you here on this Monday. And we are going to shout out some places where we're especially happy to have people from this week.
Yes, we are happy to hear from the people of Costa Rica. Hello, everybody. And also the people of Fallbrook, California.
Where's Fallbrook?
It's in San Diego County.
Oh, I love San
I
Diego.
looked them up because I had never heard of Fallbrook before. And turns out they're the avocado capital of the world, and they're by Camp Pendleton, which is a military base.
I love San Diego. Like, period.
Yeah,
That whole
think-
area. I was there not too long ago
Yeah.
for a family thing. And I will take any reason to get on an airplane and go to San Diego.
I do feel like if one day you say, I'm moving, I'm going to be like, it's to San Diego.
No, I can't move to San Diego. My children are
I
here.
know. But if that wasn't a factor, I think that's where you would go.
Maybe.
Or you
I
would
love
take, you
San
would be like,
Diego.
we're all going.
Yeah, I wish I could.
Yeah.
And we are here today to talk about children, so this is a
There
good
you go.
segue, right? This is a good segue. I read a very interesting little factoid that led me to this topic about children, but it actually started with information about a cat. Bear with me, folks.
Yeah.
Bear with me. So I was reading some information. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that I adopted a cat not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I was looking up some information. And as I was looking up some information, I came across this little factoid. And it said, did you know that cats only meow at people because they understand that people will react to them if they meow, evolution-wise. Like, it
Yes.
has evolved with them that when you communicate with people, you meow. But when they are communicating with each other, they don't meow.
Yeah, I find that amazing.
I was like, I've owned cats before. This
Yeah.
is not my first cat. And I don't think that I have ever heard, realized, or read that they only meow for humans. And the one that I have right now meows a lot. She's
A lot.
talkative,
Yes.
right? But only for me, because she understands that when she does that, I'm going to do something, get something, pay attention
Yes.
to her. So they know they get your attention that way.
Yeah.
And I said to Allison, I know it's a leap, but there's an episode in this because children also do certain things only for the people who are raising them, only for their grandparents, only for friends
Yes.
of the family, only for their people they encounter in their early childhood
Yeah.
program, only for the children there. Like, they're not doing
Yeah.
the same thing in all different places for all different people.
Honestly, if we're thinking about it, it's not just children. It's people in general.
Yes.
I don't talk the same way to my mother as I would to Cindy, right? I also don't talk the same at work as I would with my friends. And I think maybe children learn that very quickly early on, right? There's different environments and there's different people, and I need to talk different ways to these different people.
So there's a surprisingly probably young age at which they realize,
Yeah.
I do this here with these people, I
Right.
do this here with these people.
Right.
And it may not even be language, it could also be behavior.
Yes.
We all adjust
Yeah.
our behavior based on where we are, who we are with, and what is happening. It's the people, the setting,
Yeah.
the overall environment. We adjust our behavior. And that's true for children as well. I don't know if they have a word that they use only with cats and not with humans, but that's wild. It's wild that they only meow at humans.
Yes.
I thought it's a nice reminder of something that I still hear consistently when I talk to people. One of the things that I do as part of my work is I teach about things like developmental screenings. And when I talk about the fact that families need to participate in this process, there are people who say things still to this day in 2026 say things like, but the families make stuff up, the families lie, the families are not telling us what they actually see. And if a family, honestly, if a family is concerned, they may be a little reserved in what they tell us. Generally speaking, though, they are, according to the statistics, extremely accurate reporters of what they see their children doing at home, which can be very different than what we see them doing in our programs.
Yeah, I can't get over people who think that people are lying about it.
Oh my gosh, it's been generations worth of early education professionals thinking people are lying to them. It's generations worth. Folks, they're reporting what they see. Yeah. I had somebody recently say to me, well, I spend 10 hours a day with the child and they're not telling me what they see. And I'm like, see, but you're spending 10 hours a day with the child in an early childhood setting with different people, with how 15 other children annoying this child.
Right. Whereas at home, they might be the only child there.
Right.
Or maybe they just have a couple siblings there. Not 15 other children. Or I act differently in a group than I do by myself.
Me too.
Or with one other person.
Me too.
So,
I think we have to remember that there can be two truths.
Yes.
And I think that that's where we have fallen off. I think there are a couple of reasons why. When families report things differently than we have seen in our programs, why instead of saying, oh, there are two truths happening here, and assuming that what we hear is correct because I have no evidence that it isn't. Unless I'm home with the families, I don't know what's happening there. No. Can we all just admit that?
Yeah.
Unless we are in the home with the family, we have no idea what's happening there. And the children will behave differently in different places. There can be two truths. A child can handle frustration very well at home, because there are fewer children, different adults, and hopefully it's their safest place.
Yeah.
And then at our programs, they may not handle frustration well at all,
right,
because there are so many other children and these other adults who I don't live with,
right,
and this setting that is overwhelming.
There's maybe nowhere to escape in that kind of setting, whereas at home, there's multiple rooms that they can go into.
But I think that as early educators, and I know it's true, when I think about the past, it's true for me too, that it's like a defense mechanism for us to say, no, that's not what's happening, period. And I think we need to end it as, that's not what's happening in my classroom. That's not what's happening in my program, but it could be happening other places differently. I think it's a defense mechanism because I think just like sometimes we make assumptions about other people's truthfulness. We worry that other people will make assumptions about how we perceive their children or if we are telling a whole truth. And instead of becoming defensive, we need to hold a space. And that space needs to be, in life, there can be two truths simultaneously.
Right.
Right? I'm trying to think if there are other examples of when there can be two truths.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking of a certain child in my class right now, and I had this during parent-teacher conferences where I said something, and the parents were like, wait, what? Because he does all that at home. I'm like, he does not do that here. And then, because it was I was like, oh, he's still kind of trying to get down the morning routine. He seems to have trouble getting his backpack off and unpacking and stuff like that, and we're working on that because, and for me, I thought it was a fine motor thing. He had trouble unsnapping things. Okay. And they're like, he does all of that at home. I'm like, okay, great. I actually said, I'm glad to hear that is what I said, because here I have not seen that. And they said, could you help him at the end? They're like, could you help him clean up? I'm like, he cleans up. He's my best cleaner here. They're like, wait, what? And they were like flabbergasted.
There you go.
Two different children in two different settings. But I, instead of being like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe that he's doing all this at home. I was like, I'm actually glad to hear that he is, because I was getting concerned about his fine motor skills.
Well, that should be the response. Should be, I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that that's working out well at home.
Yeah.
When your child is in our program, we're not seeing that, or we are seeing that.
Right.
Two truths. That's what we have to hold. There are two.
Right.
We're not enemies.
Right.
Children do different things in different places. My children did.
Yeah.
I heard for years how wonderful one of my children was when at home he could be very challenging.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Two truths. And life is really full of two truths.
Yeah.
Look at how news is reported in our world.
There's multiple truths.
There's multiple. Who even knows how to sift through it to find the ultimate truth? Right?
Right.
We can't even sift through it. Most people or many people I know anyway, at this point have given up trying to sift through that.
I do not. I am one of those people.
It's a shame because it's
I
a
know.
shame because news reporting agencies used to have respect back in the day, and now we're just like, are you telling me the truth?
Well, yeah, and if I start second guessing things, I'm like, why am I listening to this, right? So like, and I don't want people to get like that in early childhood of like, well, if I'm going to constantly
Right.
second guess these parents or this family, then I'm not even going to listen to them at all, and that's not the way you should be. Just like you don't want them to feel like that with you.
Right.
So, because they might think that too, instead of like the story I just told, we actually had a good laugh about that. Like, oh, and okay, we'll work on it on both ends kind of thing. But some parents might take it differently, and I don't want them to think I'm lying to them. No, this is what I see your child do here.
We have to go into
Yeah.
meetings with families saying, children do different things in different places. So thank you for meeting with me. We need to know what's happening at home.
Yes.
And it helps you to know what's happening when your child is in a group setting like this.
Yes.
The group settings change people. I'm a different
I'm a
person in a
different
large
person.
group than
Yeah.
I am, than I am like if it's just me and a couple of people.
Right.
Or me and my family. I'm very
Well,
different with my family,
I
I think.
also think there's a difference between being in a group setting where you know everybody,
Yeah.
like say a big family event, I know all those people, and being put in, say, school where it's like, all right, I'm in a group setting, but I don't know any of these folks. I don't know this teacher that well. I don't know these children that well. Like, and I'm here,
Right.
in the mix of all of this unknown, right? So like, I think that could change because if I'm in a big group, I don't do well in big groups always, even if it's people I know, but I certainly don't do well in walking into a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm perfectly happy and can be kind of extroverted with people I know, right? So like, and I'm old, okay? So like, and I kind of know how to navigate the world a little bit. We're talking about children who don't know how to navigate those situations, and that can be very difficult.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. My two truths are kind of like yours. I can be very introverted and I can be extroverted
Yes.
depending on the situation.
Yep.
I've experienced things like I went to see a speaker once, and that person was a really great speaker, but I felt low on facts. There are two truths. They're good at what they do as far as speaking, but the factual stuff, like they need a little more background.
Right.
We're always holding this space. I don't know why we don't hold it for families, that they can have a truth and we can have a truth, and they can both be the truth.
They're both the truth.
They're both the truth.
Right.
So just like cats will meow only for humans,
Yeah.
maybe children are only calming their emotions or cleaning up for or able to handle their frustration in one setting and one another,
Right.
not another, with some people and not others. I remember, sometimes thinking things like, grandparents. Let's think about how children behave
Yeah.
differently for grandparents, right?
Yes.
Yes. My husband and I were watching a TV show recently, and there was a scene with grandparents, and you could see how the grandparents treat the children differently
Yes.
in their home than the family did, and that's why there's a difference. Yesterday we were walking in a place we often walk indoors, and there were a lot of families there yesterday. You could tell kids are off from school or
Yeah.
whatever. They were all there, by the way, with things to ride on and
Yeah.
do, and it was really kind of entertaining to
Yeah.
walk around there. And we saw a lot of things. We saw there was a father with two children, young children, and they were just walking. They were like crossing in front of us, and we hear the father say, "No, soda is for special occasions and grandma. We don't get soda every time we eat." And Todd and I laughed. We just laughed. We were like, "Oh yeah, that feels familiar. That feels familiar, right?" There was another parent. She wanted her child to give the other child a turn. And she was like, okay, look, when you're alone, you get to use this just you. But when we're together, you have to give your sister a turn. So there are two truths, right? Sometimes you get to use this alone. Sometimes you have to give your sister a turn. Sometimes children do things differently at home. Sometimes they do things for me that they don't do for their families.
Right.
Sometimes they do things for their families they don't do for me. So let's hold what I have a friend who calls it a sacred space. Let's hold a sacred space, folks, where there can be two truths,
Yeah.
right? Can my cat meow? Yes. Will she meow for other cats? No. Only me. Only me and my husband, because she knows she gets a reaction.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll let you go think about what two truths exist in your lives with children and hold that sacred space where there can be the two truths. If you can think of one, you can go to howpreschoolteachersdoit.com to our contact form and send us information, or find us on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We've also had people comment to us on YouTube. If you put a comment on YouTube, we do our best to respond to that as well.
Yes.
So go ahead, comment on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you're going to see two truths about us. You're going to see hairstyles, weight.
Yeah.
You're going to see all sorts of
All
things.
sorts of things.
And we will catch you next time on the podcast.
Bye, Pete.